The 2023 NFL offseason is underway, and with the new league year officially beginning on Wednesday, teams and players have already begun making moves that are sure to shake up the landscape of the league. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Declan Stablow, joined alongside Ashley Mascaro and Joey David. Tonight we'll be discussing the biggest trades and signings so far, as well as our predictions for how the rest of the offseason will unfold. Ashley, I'll kick it to you first. What do you think has been the biggest trade so far this offseason?
So I honestly think that a lot of teams have been participating in tradings. I didn't really know, I don't think anyone knew what to expect. The Chicago Bears have been very, very active, both in free agency and in trading. But the big trade that comes to mind is the Chicago Bears finally got rid of the number 1 draft pick. They said that they weren't sure what they were going to do with it, but they would not be trading for a quarterback. Justin Fields would be their quarterback. So they traded it to the Carolina Panthers. Now, Carolina is a disaster. They are looking for a new quarterback, and some potential targets that they have been looking for are Anthony Richardson from Florida and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. Now, in this deal, Chicago, it's a blockbuster trade. Chicago gets the wide receiver DJ Moore, who had a really good season last year. He had 63 receptions for 888 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he played pretty good. So they're getting a huge addition at wide receiver there. It also includes the 2023 first-round pick, which is 9th overall, the 2023 second-round pick, which is 61st overall, and that was from the trade for Christian McCaffrey from the 49ers. They get a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 second-round pick. So they get a lot of good draft picks in this deal, and Carolina gets a 1 pick. Is it worth it? That's what I keep wondering. I mean, I think no matter what, Chicago's going to do good out of it because now Justin Fields has amazing targets with DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney all at the trio wide receiver group. So what are you thinking about yours?
Yeah, I think this trade is definitely shaking up everything that's going to be going for the draft. And speaking of shaking things up, Aaron Rodgers. So everyone's been on Twitter today. Trey Wingo said that the deal is done. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. And then you hear from Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, you might want to pump the brakes a little bit. So Aaron Rodgers, is he a New York Jet? We don't know yet. And Jets fans everywhere are stressed out. They're confused. NFL fans everywhere are stressed out and confused. And I don't even know if the Jets and the Packers really know what's going on anymore. Aaron Rodgers is a massive wild card, and we'll see what happens with his future. But now a trade that actually happened is Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins. And you want to know what the Rams got? A bag of chips, a.k.a. a third-round pick and Hunter Long. And I don't know how this trade went through. I know Jalen Ramsey's aging. Everyone can say he's washed up. He's still Jalen Ramsey. So a third-round pick and a tight end who I guarantee half the NFL fans didn't know who he was, that's not enough. And now I know that the Rams are rebuilding. They're sending off assets. They need to make money, and they have no draft capital. But they easily could have gotten more, and I know teams definitely would have paid more for it. And then you look at Miami. Their secondary is looking great now with Xavier Howard on one side and Jalen Ramsey on the other. That is a great cornerback duo that is really going to help propel Miami, who's continuously stacking up the roster.
Yeah, I find it just about impossible to believe that was the best offer that the Rams could have gotten. I mean, a backup tight end and a third-round pick for one of the best corners in the game. And for me, the question for that team really is, are they rebuilding or are they reloading? Because either way, they got fleeced. But now let's talk about some of the biggest free agency deals that have been agreed upon so far. Joey, we'll start with you this time.
So yeah, the first thing I want to preface is that the deals are somewhat agreed, but not pen to paper yet. This is just the legal tampering period, so every team can get verbal agreements, but as we've seen in the past, people change their minds. But the first deal that really came off the board from someone with a massive name is Javon Hargrave. He signed for 4 years, $84 million with the San Francisco 49ers. And as you can see from that picture, he's not going to be tackling 49ers anymore. He's going to help that amazing D-line of Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa really solidify that amazing defense they have in San Francisco. But looking to the other side of the line, the Broncos spent a lot of money on their offensive line. First, guard Ben Powers from the Ravens, and then Mike McGlinchey from the 49ers, who got 4 years, $87.5 million, with $50 million guaranteed for a right tackle, is insane. Sean Payton is not messing around. He understands he has a good defense, and he wants to make sure that Russell Wilson stays upright, and what happened last season does not happen again.
I think it's the Broncos deal. When I saw that, I was just in shock. I mean, that is a huge deal, especially for a tackle. I mean, it's clear, like you said, Sean Payton is rebuilding, and he wants Russell Wilson to want to be there and to be at his best. Now, I'm going to go to the quarterback side in the NFC. Derek Carr has finally found a new home. Everyone was like, at the end of last season, He finished out his last game was in Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve. They had lost with the last 30 seconds. Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown. It was over. That ended Derek Carr's future in Las Vegas. Now, Carr has been with the Raiders since 2014 when he was drafted. They were Oakland at the time, but he's been with Oakland/Las Vegas for 9-10 years. So he doesn't know what it's like to play somewhere else except as a Raider. So he goes in to the New Orleans Saints with the past season, 502 attempts, 3,522 yards, and 24 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. The touchdown-interception ratio is a little bit closer than I think most teams would like, but he's still overall a really good quarterback. So they go in, they mutually and verbally agreed on a four-year, $150 million deal. Now, the Saints have been a disaster at quarterback. Once Drew Brees retired after the 2020 season, they have just been a wreck. They signed Jameis Winston, and he tore his ACL in the middle of the season. Then the next season, he gets healthy, and they have Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston both playing. Neither of them are long-term quarterbacks, and we know that. So they were looking for somewhere else, and Derek Carr seemed like a perfect option for them. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do with all of their receiver groups and Alvin Kamara in the running field. So now I'm wondering, what do you do you think he's going to be good there, or do you think he's going to need to go somewhere else?
I got to say, I just do not see Derek Carr as the guy that gets this team over the hump. You look at the past 2 seasons, he's been on some talented Raiders rosters, especially this last season. He had arguably the best receiver in the league in Devontae Adams, the league-leading rusher in Josh Jacobs, a great number 2 receiver, although he was injured part of the year, in Hunter Renfrow, and one of the best tight ends in Darren Waller. And they had a slow start and a slow finish, and they missed the playoffs because of it. I think we're going to see more of the same in New Orleans. But I do think that Derek Carr signing with the Saints is a very big stepping stone in his career. I think this officially starts his life as a journeyman quarterback in this league. But now, I want to hear some of your guys' predictions for what we can expect to happen between now and the NFL draft.
So we'll start with wide receivers. One big wide receiver that was released the other day was Adam Thielen from the Minnesota Vikings. He has been with the Minnesota Vikings, again, since draft. So this is another person who is like, okay, where am I going to go? I have to start all over with a new team. And I'm kind of wondering, is he going to rebuild off of a team that someone like the Vikings, who were playoff contenders, division champions, and they have weapons? Is it going to be one of those teams, or is it going to be a team that is completely rebuilding? My thought is that it's going to be a team that's completely rebuilding, and the first team that comes to mind is the Atlanta Falcons. They currently have Desmond Ridder as quarterback. Who knows if that's going to stay, because the last few games in the NFL in the 2022 season, when he was playing, he didn't do so hot. I understand he's only a rookie, but he didn't seem like he was going to be the starter for much longer. After releasing Marcus Mariota, who knows what's going to happen? So I think having a big name, especially since there's not a big name at quarterback right now, they need that. And Adam Thielen is a big name that comes to mind. They have one other wide receiver in Drake London, who he's doing good. I mean, he's only a year in, so I understand. But who knows how he's going to play out? Cordero Patterson, Kyle Pitts, they're all also good players, and they are injury prone, but I think Adam Thielen, who's not injury prone, will be a good addition to this team.
Yeah, I like Adam Thielen, and I'm really excited to see where he goes. Atlanta's a good fit. There's a bunch of wide receiver needy teams, and the wide receiver class this free agency is not the strongest, and it's also been the quietest since the tampering period began. So I'm also going to go wide receiver, and I'm going to look at Odell Beckham Jr., where I think he's going to go to the New York Jets, because Aaron Rodgers loves to have the big name target, and he doesn't always trust the younger guy. Garrett Wilson played amazing, winning Rookie of the Year last year. but the Jets could use more. Although Odell Beckham Jr. is looking for around $20 million a year, I think the Jets can change the cap up a little bit. They have very cap-friendly contracts, be able to afford a man like Odell Beckham Jr., bring that veteran presence in, and really help solidify that offense, especially if a man like Aaron Rodgers can come in and lead at the helm.
You know, that Jets team, there are a few playmakers and a solid QB away from the playoffs last season. From franchise tags to blockbuster trades, this offseason looks like it's about to get wild. That's all we have for this edition of Penn State Sports Night. For Ashley Mascaro and Joey David, I'm Declan Stablow. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind the scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.